Hello everyone, my name's Scott Carney. Welcome to Club Extra here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and I'm here to bring my reaction to the briefing that was held by Patrick Stewart earlier on today to give a bit of an update of where we are as a football club. I know I'm a bit late to the party. It's a Saturday. I've been out doing family stuff, as you can imagine, so I've only had a chance to get in, read through the kind of full Q&A, and you sense the stuff that was said on it is going to cause quite a stir, I would believe, among some of the Rangers support. I thought it would be important to come on and let you guys know my feelings on it, to let you know where I stand with what he said. So yeah, the briefing was reportedly brought forward to this morning. This afternoon, early this afternoon, actually, it was meant to be tomorrow morning. It was brought forward, and it was him and Patrick Stewart and Fraser Thornton that addressed the media, with a number of things said. That I don't think is going to go down fairly well. I'm not going to lie. It's not the news coming out of today that I wanted. Is it the news that I expected? Probably, yes, probably, and I think there's various reasons for that. So yes, obviously the biggest talking point I think of it all, what we're all waiting for is where we stand with Philip Clement being Rangers manager. That was the update we were looking for in terms of where the club are, where the board are, in terms of what's going to happen going forward. I will read just a brief bit of what was said. I'm not going to take too much of it. I'm not going to sit and read out word for word what he said. But on Clement and the future of Philip Clement, he said there's been a lot of talk about results and there's been a lot of talk about the manager. And I know that the spotlight is on Fraser and myself, but particularly on me. But that's my job. I'm okay with that. I need to make tough decisions. It comes with the role, but I am committed to making the right ones for Rangers, not just the popular ones. So cutting to the chase, we are backing Philip Clement at this time as a board. It's about taking a deeper look at the issues, addressing those problems, and staying focused on building a stronger future for the club. Changing a manager isn't a silver bullet solution. You know where I've worked previously, and that isn't something that has been effective there. It's not effective for a lot of clubs where there's a constant change of manager. If we rush and react every time there's some poor results, we're in danger of just being back in the same place in a year's time or 18 months' time or however long. But I want to be clear. Look, I am not saying everything is fine, and I think the fans are frustrated. I get that. Now, that for me was the main bit for what I was looking for anyway, today, in terms of what I wanted to get from it, what I wanted to get from the update that Patrick Stewart was going to give. He did go on to say that it's not down to finances, the reason that they're not getting rid of Philip Clement. And yeah, they seem dead set against, the board seem dead set against not getting rid of the manager at this stage. Changing the manager is clearly not something they have an appetite for. It's not something that they think is required to happen in order for us to make progress. A few things on this. The board, and clearly Patrick Stewart doubling down on the manager is a risky tactic, in my opinion, because he's made a rod for his own back at this point. It's a decision that I think he's probably going to have had a few sleepless nights over. I would like to think he would have anyway, regarding what to do, due to the reaction that there has been since Thursday's 1-8 draw with Dundee. And obviously previous to that, but it's all kind of come to a point, I think, after Thursday evening. And yeah, for him to come out and say that, it's not as, I mean, I know you can't come out and half back the manager, if that makes sense, but the way that it was worded and the full backing, etc., and the way that it was kind of portrayed across to everybody is, it's concerned me, and I'm not going to lie, it has absolutely concerned me. I spoke with the lads as well a little bit earlier on, and it does look to me a little bit, and I don't want to be overreaction to this here, but it looks like to me that the board are the stakeholders, if you like, are very close to the back of Patrick Stewart, so much so he can probably feel the breath on the back of his neck. It doesn't look like right now he's got a massive control of the club or the decisions made at the club. Time will tell with other things he went on to say throughout that briefing. Don't get me wrong. However, it is, I don't want to say looks like the kind of spokesperson really, and that's all he is for the people, the kind of the stakeholders, the other board members, etc. But it wasn't a great look for me. It wasn't really a great look for me. I can understand the sentiment behind not sacking the manager. I'm not acting like I do believe that it's a silver bullet, that I do believe that it's the thing that would completely change the fortunes of Rangers. But I think it would help, and I think it would be the first step that we would have to take. I think ultimately, the board are the ones that have made the decisions to lead us to where we are right now. They are the ones that have made the decisions to where we are, with bad decisions that have been made over time, with mismanagement of things, with not pushing on when we should have. We all know we should have kicked on a lot more than we did after we won 55, and it hasn't come to fruition. And the board have to take the majority of the blame for that. We've had a lot of change on the board. We've had a lot of movement about of the board. We've had James Bisgrove get moved up and then disappear. We've had Bennett go in, and then Bennett had to go for health reasons, etc. So there's been a lot of change, and there's been no real consistency or growth within the football club, in my opinion. And I'm going to caveat all of this by saying this is my opinion. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to give my opinion. The other lads will have their opinion on this, I'm sure. But ultimately, as I say, it's the board that have got us into this position. They are the reason that we are where we are just now, sitting, well, at the time of recording, 18 points behind Celtic. Well, obviously, we have a game in hand tomorrow, but we're 18 points Celtic, and it's the 11th of January. Now, without portraying that I would accept second best at Rangers, because I never would, I never will, it's never going to happen, we would have, the majority of level-headed Rangers fans would have accepted us going through a rebuild in inverted commas this year, should the gap be maybe at least half of what it is right now. Like if we were 7 points behind right now, you'd be going, right, okay, fair enough. We beat them, especially if we'd won the cup and we beat them at Ibrox. We've seen progress on the pitch, etc. But to be in the position that we are just now, to me, in my personal opinion, is a failure by Clement. It's a failure of the manager. There is enough talent within that squad to be a lot closer than 18 points, 15 points if we win tomorrow, away from the first position. We shouldn't be in a position where we're looking over our shoulder at third. We should be going through a rebuild right now where we are solidifying second at the very, very least, but also keeping them on their toes. We are so far behind them now, they can relax. They can completely take the foot off the pedal. They can do what they want. There is no pressure on them. The title race was done absolutely months ago. So that's the bit that I get frustrated at with the club, and the way that Patrick Stewart has said that the board have his full backing and we can't chop and change managers. That would be a valid argument for me if we weren't in the state that we are right now. You cannot deny that. He did say, yes, results do have to improve, but he wasn't dragged into what's going to happen if things don't improve. What happens if Rangers get beat tomorrow? What happens if Rangers get beat against Aberdeen on Wednesday? What if? He didn't get dragged into any of that. To me, honestly, it looks like Clement will be here for the rest of the season, by hook or by crook. It doesn't really matter what's going to happen for the rest of the season. I think the board are, if I'm being honest, are doubling down, and they are hoping that things are going to get better. It is a whim. They're going on a whim here that Rangers will get better, that somehow the performances will get better. Injured players will come back into the squad, and all of a sudden things will be better. I don't believe that's the case, and that's where I am standing on it. I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe it will get better. I believe Rangers will probably go and win tomorrow. I believe we'll probably win on Wednesday night, but it's what happens the next time we go away from home. What happens when we get beat off Dundee United away? I think tomorrow will be a slog. Don't get me wrong about that. I'm not expecting Rangers to be superb at all. But the way that the board are doing this now is very much, we need to strap ourselves in. We have to take what they're saying and that's it, really, at the end of the day. I don't think it's the correct path. Oh, time will tell. If I'm wrong, I'll sit here and I'll hold my hands up and say, look, I was completely wrong. I don't believe I am wrong. I think the majority of you that tune into this podcast don't believe that you're wrong about what we are seeing on the pitch. I don't think it can be denied with what we are seeing on the pitch under Clement. There is no progression. We are going backwards at an alarming rate. And the board, they just want this all to go away. And this is my opinion, but it looks like they just want all of this to go away, and we'll see where we are at the end of the season. Ultimately, I still think Clement's got a hell of a job in his hands in order to be the Rangers manager after the summer. If we finish any further behind than what we already are, there is no argument for me for him to stay. You were probably going to get through in Europe. Yes, he might win the Scottish Cup, possibly, but as Patrick Stewart said today, the biggest problem with this club is in recent times is we don't sustain success. Where the odd cup, the league here and there is not what this football club is all about. You know that. You don't need me to tell you that. So interesting to say the least, and something that I don't agree with. I think Patrick Stewart has put himself out there just now. He had an easy win on his hands, I think, to remove the manager from his position. I do, and that's my personal opinion. I think he could have had an easy win. It does look like this decision is more the board than it is him. Again, I'm reading between the lines. He didn't necessarily come out and say that, but I am reading between the lines and passing my opinion on it. That it looks like the board have made this decision more than he has, that he is not for going anywhere. I know the CEO can't just turn around and sack the manager without the board saying so, but the board, full backing is what he said. Full backing of Philip Clement at this stage, at this time. That for me is a concern. It really is a concern, because we go on about standards, and I understand we need to look at long term. I completely understand that. But the damage that is happening right now is something that cannot be ignored. It just can't be ignored. Following on from that, he addressed that there's going to be a full internal review of pretty much the running of the club, especially the footballing aspect of it across all levels, academy, women's team, the B team, and obviously the first team. So there's going to be a full review. He's bringing in external football people to help him carry out that process. But it's going to take time. Do you know what I mean? It's going to take time. That doesn't happen overnight. There's going to be a lot of digging and fluffing around to do in order to find where the real problems are. I believe there is deep-rooted problems as well within the club. Don't get me wrong. And I just don't believe that. I don't believe continuing on with Clement for the next 6 months achieves anything. He said it wasn't down to finances, so the money is clearly there to back him, and I'm taking him on his word on that. That if he has to go, the money is there to sack him, which I kind of thought was the case anyway. To be honest, people saying you don't have the money to sack him. I think if you've got a clause in somebody's contract, especially a manager's contract, that if things go a certain way, you have to get rid of them. That money has to be ring fenced. It has to be there. It has to be agreed by the stakeholders, the shareholders, whoever, the investors. It has to be agreed with them that money would be there should the deed have to be done. I do still very much feel like we're kicking the can further down the road just now, and I think we are, as fans just now, are just going to have to suck this up and take it. This won't go down well with fans, and just a quick brief look on social media, it's kind of told me that it's not the news that I wanted. The way that it was even worded by him, as I say, has caused me kind of real concern about what direction we are going in. I don't think there's a quick fix. I'm not saying I believe that there is, but I don't believe part of the fix is keeping Clement as manager, and that's my argument. My argument is we would be better off getting somebody else to even in the kind of meantime for the rest of the season. And I don't know who that would be. It's not my opinion. My opinion doesn't really matter in terms of who the next manager is going to be or who the next caretaker should be, etc. That's not down to me to decide. That's what the club should be doing. The board members, the CEO, that's what they should be doing. I believe that would be the best path forward, because I don't believe giving Clement anything in this window, which I will come on to, but giving Clement anything in this window will achieve anything. I really don't. I believe every player could be suddenly fit tomorrow by a click of a finger, and I still don't think we would see an improvement in what we've seen from Thursday night. I really don't. I think it would be the same thing. I don't think anything would change. It's all down to what he's doing, how he's coaching, how he's putting these players out onto the pitch. The players have a certain element of the responsibility to share. Don't get me wrong. We've got so many underachievers and underperformers and the in the club, in the squad just now. But for me, the decision to keep Clement on, I think he'll come back and haunt Patrick Stewart. I think it will. I think it will come back and haunt him, and he'll be the face guy for it. And he'll be the one that I imagine tomorrow may take a bit of criticism from the crowd, or for those who decide to go to Ibrox tomorrow. So yeah, I'm not particularly pleased with what it was said and how it was said. On transfers, and obviously the football review that's happening internally within the club, we'll see what happens to that if we ever get any full detail on that. Transfers, that's the other thing we were probably all looking for. One, maybe two, which I'm not shocked at. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to shock at. There is players we have to get off the books. He did make a statement saying that a good man probably wouldn't be sold this window, but again, everybody's for sale, so I don't think he should be too naive about stuff like that, because if somebody comes in with a ludicrous offer for him, he will go. It's as simple as that. Everybody at the club is for sale as long as the money is right for it. So I wouldn't say it's never, or it's a never and it's never going to happen, because there's real chances that it could. We have to start getting rid of some players, be at our best performers right now. If the money's correct, they'll go. Unfortunately, that's the way that we are. I do understand that we can't get rid of players that are in form, and we should build. And Igaman probably will get better, don't get me wrong, but this board have failed previously with this, in terms of when they should have moved players on. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. I do completely understand that, but every player within the club is unfortunately for sale. I would hate to see him go, because he is the only real shining light that we have just now within the squad. Him and Raskin are the only real two that you're looking forward to watching, I would say. Tierney, when he decides to show up, maybe, but yes, one, possibly two. So you'd imagine it'll be a centre half, because we're in dire need of one. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a centre half signing. Yeah, and obviously there was plenty more in it. I don't want to sit here and go through absolutely everything, because I'd imagine you've all read up for it on yourselves, but I just thought I'd come on and kind of give my opinion. Look, this might not go down well with some, might be all right with others, might be well received by others, I don't know. But as I say, I always just want to put my opinion forward, and after reading the full Q&A of it, reading kind of every detail of it, I thought, yeah, I think I need to go on and express my concerns about what's going on. There's a bumpy road ahead, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie. If this is the path that the board are going to choose to take, then there is a bumpy road ahead. I don't see things improving under Clement. I think we will get worse. I'm not going to lie, because the evidence tells me that. We'll see what happens going forward, but I just, as I say, wanted to come on and give my piece about it. I will be intrigued to get the rest of the guys' thoughts about it as well, and yours, of course. So please leave your comments and down below, and I'll get involved in the chat later on tonight as well to see what we're all thinking about it. So yes, on to tomorrow now. We will be back tomorrow after the game with a match reaction. It'll be Alistair and myself, I think, tomorrow after the game. So very much hope your team wins tomorrow, and we'll speak to you tomorrow. Club, we are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.